told your friend you're not okay.
K-pop news, a wave of commotion has once again rocked the Korean entertainment world. After days of public anticipation, almost unstoppable curiosity, the agency finally broke its silence regarding Taehyung's trip to Amsterdam, a trip that initially seemed simple, but has since evolved into a major mystery discussed on various global platforms. Since news of Taehyung's departure first broke, social media has been a sea of speculation. Armies from various countries have begun to propose various theories, from alleged secret photo shoots, international collaborations, to the possibility of a global art project. It's nothing new for Taehyung's name to always stir up excitement, but this time the atmosphere felt different. There was a much higher intensity, a deeper mystery, and a sense that whatever was happening was more than just a casual agenda. The tension escalated when the agency chose to remain silent for several days. There was no clarification, no correction, not even the neutral statement they usually issue to quell rumors that went too far. This silence only further strengthened the suspicion that something was being hidden, something too big to be announced immediately without thorough preparation. But finally, a turning point came when Bang Si-hyuk himself made a statement. In his characteristically calm yet powerful style, he revealed that Taehyung's trip to Amsterdam cannot be considered an ordinary trip and that there is a major strategic plan behind this decision. This seemingly brief statement opened the door to broader and more intense speculation. Fans, who had already suspected a major project, were now even more convinced that Amsterdam was chosen for a very specific reason. The city is more than just a tourist destination, it is a European cultural hub filled with world-class museums, international art galleries, a thriving creative industry, and a global artist community known for its bold experimentation. Given Taehyung's evolving career, which has branched out into non-mainstream visual arts, fashion, and music, Amsterdam seemed like the perfect setting for an innovative project that combined all of these elements. An unnamed insider corroborated this suspicion, stating, "The trip was planned long before the public was aware of it. There was an experimental element that was intended to be realized, something that couldn't be done in Korea." While the statement didn't provide any details, it was enough to spark speculation among fans about the possibility of a visual work, an exploration of alternative music, or even an unprecedented cross-cultural collaboration. Some Korean entertainment industry observers also believe that Bang Si-hyuk's statement follows the same pattern as previous major strategies. He's known for rarely speaking out unless something truly important is happening. When he does speak out, it means the plans underway are not only significant, but also have a level of influence that could shake up the global market. In other words, if he calls the trip strategic, then the project being prepared is almost certainly international in scope. Meanwhile, global armies are starting to piece together the pieces of information. Some link the Amsterdam trip to a possible fashion project, given Taehyung's rapidly growing reputation in the world of art and aesthetics. Others speculate about a possible musical collaboration with a European producer known for his unique and experimental sound. Still others believe that Taehyung is preparing a visual work that combines elements of cinema, performance art, and contemporary music, a concept that perfectly fits the artistic character he has displayed so far. K-pop news noted that ARMY discussions are no longer simply about, is Taehyung working, but rather about, how large is his project, and, when will the truth be revealed? This enthusiasm is evident in the various comments, fan analyses, and even lengthy social media threads discussing every possible detail, including the places he visited, who was seen with him, and even the symbolic meaning of the city of Amsterdam itself. What makes things even more interesting is the agency's way of wording their statement. Rather than shutting down the rumors, they instead dropped subtle but powerful hints, as if encouraging the public to keep guessing. This communication strategy is typically used when a major project is being prepared and the public needs to warm up before an official announcement. While the world was still gripped by curiosity about the purpose of Taehyung's trip to Amsterdam, a new development once again captured the public's attention. Following Bang Si-hyuk's surprising statement, the atmosphere in the music industry grew tense, as if industry players were holding their breath, awaiting his next move. In this situation, many were unaware that a larger storm of information was actually just beginning to form. A few days after the initial statement, K-pop news received an exclusive report from a trusted source within BTS's circle, revealing that the trip was not a standalone project. According to the source, Amsterdam was just the first stop in a series of international trips being prepared. The grand plan Bang Si-hyuk mentioned involved more than just a specific location, but a multidimensional creative process involving a dedicated, secretive team. The source stated that this team included visual experts, experimental directors, international choreographers, and several art consultants who had worked on global museum-scale projects. This information further convinced the public that Taehyung's departure was not just a small step, but part of a long-term blueprint being developed with an unusual level of secrecy. Meanwhile, European media began reporting on the appearance of several Korean staff members at prominent art venues. Some were seen entering buildings said to be the birthplace of many global contemporary art projects. These reports began to piece together a new picture. The ongoing project appeared to be more than just music, but involved broader cinematic and artistic elements. Taehyung's presence in Amsterdam was apparently not solely for a single purpose. Kpop News discovered that he was scheduled to meet with several important figures from the creative industry. Although their identities were not disclosed, travel records compiled from various sources indicate that they included big names from the worlds of fashion, modern art, and even experimental music producers known for creating influential works in Europe. Even more intriguing was the report that he had visited a recording studio renowned as the birthplace of global musicians. For ARMY, this was enough to fuel speculation that an international music project might be in the works, not just a collaboration, but something with a distinct and profound artistic flavor. However, the story didn't end there. Kpop News also learned that before leaving for Amsterdam, the agency held a series of internal discussions involving several creative directors and those in charge of global projects. These discussions reportedly lasted late into the night and were full of details that had to be kept secret from the public until the time was right. This further clarifies that Bang Si-hyuk wasn't being careless when he called the trip strategic. What makes this narrative even more suspenseful is the lack of a concrete date for the project's announcement. The agency only gave a vague hint that everything will be revealed at the right time. That sentence alone was enough to put fans worldwide on high alert, waiting for every update, guessing every little clue, and analyzing every seemingly unusual move. In recent days, armies have begun to formulate bolder theories. They suspect that the planned project combines multiple elements: music, fashion, an artistic short film, a visual documentary, and perhaps an art installation designed for global release. Given Taehyung's career history, which has always prioritized aesthetics and emotional depth, many believe he is preparing something that will not only be streamed on music platforms but will also be showcased in a more modern and interactive format. Some entertainment industry analysts even argue that this grand plan could be one of the biggest individual projects by an artist in Korean entertainment history. They believe that HYBE appears to be building a significant momentum that will explode onto the international stage, and Amsterdam is the first step in building that foundation. Now, all eyes are on what's next. Will Taehyung move to another global city after Amsterdam? Will there be a sudden announcement? Will this project involve big names from the modern art world? Or is Bang Si-hyuk preparing something even more powerful than all the predictions? Kpop News believes that whatever is being prepared, its scale and impact are already considerable.